Welcome to this webinar, and we are going to be talking about the 6 pillars of health for human design mastery. Hi, Mel. Would you like to introduce yourself and say hi to everybody?
Sure. Hey there. It's great to be here with all of you and just a privilege to be part of the Human Design Mastery team. I look forward to hearing all that you have to share with us today for this brand new, beautiful course.
Thanks, Mel. I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit from you too as we get started here. Mostly, I want to know about how variable has helped you. So, if you want to share a little bit about that, that would be great. And you guys, ladies, are such a great example since Mel is, for those of you who know the lingo, is a quad right. And Naraya, as you'll meet here in a moment, she's a quad left. Hi, Naraya.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm sure Lavina has so much in store for us to watch today and learn. So Melanie and I have been helping Lavina with human design mastery, different things that we've gone through the different programs. And it's just so much fun to have everybody come in and do the long-term coaching because we get to see the transformation that each of you get to have throughout the time. And this program, is it 12 weeks?
Yeah.
12 weeks. That's 3 months that we're going to get to be together and watch that transformation unfold. It's just exciting to get to be part of this.
Absolutely. I agree. You can see we've got Mel and Ewan and Naraya and Ryan and myself. Hi, I'm Lavina. If you don't know me, I am the education director at Jovian Archive. And Mel and Naraya, yes, they've been working with us at Raw TV for a couple of years. Ryan, too, I've trained them. And to be able to work with this system, with this knowledge, you're going to need a chart. And so if you're joining us today and you're new to human design, this is Raw. And our official software for the layperson is called mybodygraph.com. So I'm going to want you to either bring your chart today or whenever you're watching the recording. And I'm your teacher. Hi, Lavina. We're going to have our helpers, our assistants who are also analysts. Ewan, in fact, just joining us is a teacher of analysts like myself. And we're both certified in variables. So if you haven't learned about variables, you have a treat in store for you today. Biggest thing, though, is that because this is about health, I want you to know that it's about educational and informational purposes only. Human design doesn't diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any condition. It's not medical advice. Always consult your own licensed healthcare practitioner before changing your treatment or wellness plan if you're under someone's care. Tonight's chart of a public figure is offered just for teaching purposes only, based on published biographical information that I could find. And if you're interested in the person that we're going to look into, you have a treat in store for that too. So when it comes to our type and authority, I just want to make sure, show of hands, you all know your type and authority. If you don't know, let us know. If you know and you want to connect with other people in the room, please go ahead and type what your type and your authority is. And for those of you who are new, type is the frequency of your aura, and it's how we find your correct strategy for moving forward. Now, I tell you, strategy is a real key, but I see them as training wheels, our strategies. Because truly, once you get in touch with your own authority, strategy tells you when you're still deconditioning, but authority is really where it's at for me. And in this new era, the decisions being made in your body, not your mind, is a really big key. And so knowing the difference is one of the things that we're going to go into in this program, as well as giving you another level up, you could say, or a deeper layer of understanding how your authority works in context with your variable, your cognitive difference. So that might be a nice place to talk about how this works personally. As an example, if you've been in chronic burnout or fatigue, oftentimes it can trace back to years and years and years of head-led decisions where you're overriding your body's real, authentic authority. So I know for me, this is really easy to do. I am super sensitive to overwork. So I overwork, I get exhausted, I burn out, and then I'm back on the treadmill again after some rest. If you don't give yourself enough rest, you just run yourself into the ground and you hit the wall. Now, I hit that wall a couple times in my life and in my experiment. And I'm curious, girls, ladies, if you want to share with me what your experience has been with your determination or your, Rob would call it dietary regimen, but it's not about diet. We know it's more about information too. How do we take in life? How has that helped you? Yeah. Mel, would you like to go first?
Sure. Well, look, it is a consistently unfolding process, even uh, 8.5, almost 9 years into my experiment now. And for me, I find that the scope of it, how it's so much about the way that I'm designed to taking life in. I'm designed to have a passive brain, and nervous touch is my determination. And especially for me with my investigator body, I it's like night and day that when I have the correct stimulation in the environment, how that truly nourishes me and it actually allows my brain to take in passively in the way that it is designed to. So life is life, right? And we have the chance to experience all kinds of different things. And I find that the most helpful has actually been to experience the contrast of that and what happens to me when I find myself in situations that aren't necessarily supportive of that, and just how to bring myself back into balance.
Yeah. The relaxation is a real thing, like the calm, the peace, the ease, the grace, the spaciousness. It changes your frequency, this experiment. I noticed it around 3.5 years. It took me a really long time, though, to get to this place of true acceptance of not only what we are, our vulnerabilities, our um, self recriminations, and anything that happens to us and we think because of us, to have that ability to come from a space that is in integrity. And so, Naraya, I would love, because yours are very different, variable, very different determination. How is that working out for you? What did you notice? Anything you want to share? Oh, we got to get you unmuted again.
All right, there we go. I am open taste and I have an active brain. So for me, it's about really being discerning about what I take in, what I put into my body, what I take in through what I listen to, what I watch, the environments that I put myself in. If it's not to my taste, it's not good for me. It's very, very bad. And my
Mhm.
body almost like revolts. It, I can feel it internally that it's not the right thing for me. And with my focused, I'm a quad left also, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a minute, which means 4 left arrows. When I'm in taking things in that are really for me, I get so focused on it and I go so deep into it. And that's how I know it's one of the right things. If I have trouble digging into it, and I have to keep going back and I keep getting distracted from it, then I know, well, no, that's not actually to my taste. And a lot of times it's my mind telling me, oh, you should eat that because it's good for you. Or, oh, you should really spend some time looking into that because it's going to help you later. But that's not necessarily the case. So learning to trust where my focus pulls me to has been one of the biggest helps. It actually saves me a ton of time and a lot of ease comes from it because I'm not constantly banging my head against something trying to take it in.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a lot less stressful because your mind is always, we're all projectors, by the way, everyone. Fear of missing out is a real thing. And we want to be a part of all the things. If you found human design in your projector too, it's like hitting a candy store. It's so much fun. And I'm cold thirst, by the way. So I would love to see if you know your determination, go ahead and type it into the chat. I do read all the chat later afterwards to kind of see where people are at, how their experiment is going, what questions do you have, what sharing, especially sharing. I'm a sharing person and I really want to know how it's going for you. What questions, what challenges, what experiences are you having? Hot thirst. Yeah. So we're welcoming you to the 6 pillars of health. And this is why generic health advice fails, and the mechanical reason it does. So you're in the second experience. Yesterday morning, I did this, and you'll notice that Lavina has a lot less energy in the afternoon, but we'll see if because I'm backed up by my team this time, if I can make it through and see how I can help you if you do have any questions. I can't do a full analysis. Obviously, you are different and utterly unique. And the way in which you take in life or nourishment, the environment that is the correct place for you to be and increases your longevity, the way that you see the world and the way that you're motivated to action, all of that combines with everything in the chart. So we're just talking about layers, the deeper layers of specificity, but you are utterly unique. So remember that. If you stay to the end, I have a gift in store for you, a $97 per year value, and there's no purchase necessary. So it is going to be free and you can claim it at the end of today's session. Everyone who attends this live gets the intro course. No purchase necessary. Stick with us and see. I am a certified practitioner, but not in your state, and I'm not your doctor. So, because I am a natural, holistic medicine, functional medicine doctor, I have been experimenting with combining and going deeper into human design from the health perspective and combining some of this information from raw, like codon mapping, if you've ever heard of it, like, of course, primary health system and rave psychology. And today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to teach you some of these things, really valuable things that is going to help you shift in this new era. As you can see, we've got the splenic center, our health, safety, security, well-being, defined through the new times that we are in, as well as health, as well as entrepreneurialism or being busy. Nothing better than work at a job that you are passionate about, that you love, your own career, being your own boss, instead of slaving away at a job that you hate. So the ladies here and I are very, very lucky to be able to do what we love all the time with our time and energy so that we can enjoy our health. Because if you're not living your life in accordance or alignment with your truth, you are not going to feel satisfied, successful, peaceful, surprised. It's not going to be healthy for you. So health is wealth. And this is why we want to help each of you get on track to be able to thrive by design. Whether you're a generator, satisfaction being your key, or you're a manifester and it's about peace or freedom of action. Whether you are a projector and it's the sweet success of doing what you came here to do, which is guiding others. That's true. We're looking at also the reflector, who's here to have surprise, the wonderment and awe and beauty of what it is to be alive, thriving in health. It is wealth. So, as a differentiation degree practitioner and analyst, trainer, and variable teacher, I've been immersed in human design across the full spectrum since 2012. And recently I became, it's an accomplishment. I'm old enough now to say that I've got my Chiron return under my belt, and there's that chart. And so, one of the things that I'm attempting to do is re-explain things to you in my own experiment, because I've learned a lot over the decade plus of using this work as a professional. And I'm going to tell you why advice fails, talk about those 4 variable arrows, the 6 pillars of health, and we're going to do an example live chart reading, as well as that 2027 shift and the path forward, whether it's about you going off on your own or joining us in a group. Again, remember, it's all about your decision-making process. We call that strategy, coming from your type and being your own authority in this new era. The 2027 background frequency shift into the 6th line. We are looking at authenticity and being self-empowered truly. And there's nothing like being a self-empowered being, because as an example, if you're sick, if you've got a health scare, has anybody else had a health scare where you went to the doctor? And I remember hearing cancer and just freaking out because my grandmother died of cancers, both of them, 2 different kinds of cancers. My mom had cancer. And when that doctor in 2020 said stomach cancer, I was just petrified. In America, 60% of the US adults have at least one chronic disease. And if you've been hearing about turbo cancers, it's a real thing. It's a very scary time that we're living in. And that's the current background frequency. First line, first color, fear, motivation. If you can get out of that fear from the CDC, 90% of 4.5 trillion in annual health spending goes to chronic conditions. Now, the reason I'm picking at chronic conditions is because this is largely preventable. It is about your lifestyle, isn't it, ladies? So 75% of chronic disease is linked to lifestyle, not genetics. They oftentimes say genes load the gun, environment pulls the trigger. Well, we want to tell you about a different way of looking at it too. But environment truly does have a lot to do with your health and your longevity. So if you're under 30, do pay attention. But if you're over 30, especially pay attention, especially if you're sick, because we're going to help you. 1 in 3 of adults report persistent stress or burnout. Stress and burnout, two very, very uncomfortable things because the medical system treats us like, little parts and pieces, symptoms in human design and natural methods like functional medicine. You're a holistic functional medicine practitioner. It attempts to get at the root or why this is happening to you specifically now. Like, what are all the components of what's happening? And because most people are living incorrectly, we've got to start there because we've got to get you on track with making your decisions in alignment first. So the ladies and I have been experimenting with this for quite a while with the health blueprint. Both of them have been interested, fascinated by health, healers, really, all of us. And all of us are here designed to be able to heal our own wounding. So, whatever core wounding you are experiencing and going through, just know that you're not alone, that there's help, that there's support, that there's guidance, that we have advice, that we have seen a lot of things, and that potentially you coming into this group with us, it's not an accident that you're in the room. You coming into this group with us, you're going to find other people who are maybe similar to you. Not exactly. Anybody else have Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, autoimmune? That was one of the diagnoses that I was given. So to be able to see the map that shows exactly, oh, this is why, this is what happened, so that you can also see how your body is designed to fuel, move, rest, and heal based on your own genetic blueprint, not a generalized protocol for someone who doesn't exist. The average person. Yeah, I don't believe in labels either. They're useful in the medical society, going to be very heretical here, so that they can give you pills. Isn't it true? So the layer that genetic or generic advice can't see is the genetics, right? Variable, design, sun personality, earth nodes of the moon, the control panel at the top of your body graph. And they're drawn from chart positions on both the design and the body side. So the design is a physiology, mind is a psychology, how you read your body, how you digest, where you thrive, what circumstances, what conditions, and also how you see, how that affects how you see, and what actually drives you. Aligned health by design is what we're calling this next iteration. Aligned Health Labs, really, because these bioenergetic transformational labs that I want to take you through are experiments, absolutely, but it's an experiment in you being you. And by looking at your body graph, not just with the spyglass, but with kind of a microscope, we like to get really geeky and, dorky and like poke and prod and dig underneath, the first line capability. I get that now, Mel, with this 1-3 cross of explanation thing happening. And variable teachers are here to teach advanced human design. Because I'm a variable teacher, I can do this in group, making it a safe place for you, supported by my team. And if you've been studying, you've mostly probably already know type, strategy, and authority. What's next? Profile. Oh, goody. And then this is the next layer. So if you've done Living Your Design or any newcomer course, this is the next step as far as primary health system, because it goes deeper. It's a layer deeper, like Living Your Design, awakening as an experience. new kind of enlightenment, but from a body level, a deeper layer, a deeper level. Your body's operating manual. Your mind's actual operating instructions, rave, psychology. So I don't know about you ladies, but I came to this because this was the thing. I was like, oh, I want to study that, at IHDS. Like, I have to go with that school because that's the only school that teaches us stuff. What about you?
Leave it to us projectors going for the jugular when it comes to the more advanced stuff in the body graph. It was immediate, and it was difficult too, actually, because at the time I feel like things have evolved so much to make things so much more accessible. This course demonstrates that 100%. But yeah, it is really exciting to get into these layers and to see how things start to work beneath the surface.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
same thing for me. The moment that I heard that this even existed, I was investigating, searching all over for any little morsels of it that I could find. And Lavina, you were my first teacher, and you'd give us little tidbits, and you brought in motivation. And then you talk every once in a while, you'd say something about our PHS. And I was like, I need to know more. I need to know more. So it's one of the very first things because you can innately tell that there's something there to it.
Mhm. Absolutely. And, I've done this training for years, but making it new and improved with variables and codon mapping to making it more accessible and practical, immediately applicable in the group format. I'm very excited to see what further iterations and what more experiences we can have together. Now, I don't want to leave human design behind. We are going to go into some health principles, basic health principles. But first, let's talk about how it maps to health. Your type, your strategy for how it operates, that's where it comes from, your energy strategy, your operating manual, you could say. But then there's authority, decision making compass. I would say, they say that people like Mel with the splenic authority, everything for you being a health based decision. I would argue or propose that right now with this time that we're in and the new cycle and the decay, Ross said he predicted that the human immune system would go down. And we can see that all around the rise of chronic issues. I would argue that the next era is really going to require that we all start taking really good care of our health. That health is, again, wealth, but also vital and critical for us to be empowered to fulfill our purpose. Because if you're just laying there, I remember crawling across my house, not being able to walk, but crawling to the bathroom of the kitchen a few years ago. And coming out of that was so wonderful because I thought it was the end. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to die. This sucks. That Vedic astrologer, he wasn't right. He said I would live for a really long time. Oh my goodness. Anyway, the mind, the not self mind. When you see Lavina getting a little bit exaggerated, it's to try and make a point, particularly from the not self shadow state mind, because the mind will always blame others. Your profile is how your body and your mind, that role you play in your wellness journey. Whether you experiment like me, hi, I'm a 3, with the mind process, while the 5 is being a bit of a heretic. Mel's going to be a heretic for you consciously, and her body's going to investigate. While Naraya's going to investigate on the mind side, and her body's going to be the experimenter. So we all have a different way of looking, not only from our profile, but our leading, because we are projectors. And the identity to the throat, we have each of the leadership channels in a group. So we're going to be able to help you with the 9 body systems, each with defined or open health patterns, challenges, ways of understanding how not just your natal design, but transits affect you. That's my favorite thing. I've been trying to figure out how are we going to do groups, maybe groups of 30, 30s, 30-year-olds, 40s and 50s as they go through their cycles to look at things. That would be fun someday. Determination. Again, your conditions, circumstances to digest correctly so that you have unique cognition, your sensory capacity, And then the environment is a physical setting where your body thrives. So our translation to help you go from design to decisions, the way that we work together is that we already have recordings for you. When you come in, you're going to start listening to the recordings. And if you sign up early, you get an extra month with us to be able to learn from the recordings and ask questions before we even get started next month. Your design sun and earth map most directly onto your brain body system. So that single chart disposition gets everything started. It describes the genetic predisposition towards two very different operating modes. Look down at your body graph. The top left-hand arrow as you're looking down, you're going to see either a left or right pointing arrow. And that decides whether this popular diet protocol is going to help you or wreck you. Now, it's not across the board. I'll grant you that. However, what we experience is that for the most part, people who know this about their brain that I'm about to teach you learn to take better care of their body and ignore the warning signals. So Mel and Naraya are going to contribute here because they both have the extreme arrow pointing completely, but at the brain body, they have different arrows, obviously. Naraya is going to go first this time because she's got the left pointing arrow. And here's the left brain on the screen. And you can see that there's a gas tank. It's got more because it needs more fuel. And so what Ra teaches us about this is that you need 3 square meals a day, regular meals, don't go hungry. And it's about your cognitive difference, your sensory capacity getting dumbed down if you don't have enough fuel. And so I'm curious if you noticed that and how it showed up for you, Naraya.
Yeah, so there's 2 different ways that this shows up for me. And one of them we won't talk about right now. When we get into groups, maybe that will come up. But for the most part, if I'm just eating a normal diet like I normally do and not doing any specific fasting or anything like that, or trying to fast, it is so clear that I need to have snacks all day long. And they have to be, I can tell when it's happening because my brain just does not work right. Or I'll get zoned into something, and then when I come back up of it, I'll be shaky. It's almost like the glucose needs to get fed to me a little bit at a time. And I don't need a lot of it because too much is too much also. Too much of anything is not good for me, but little bits here and there throughout the day it keeps me going. It keeps me going in a way that eating 2 meals or 3 meals, it doesn't do.
And the extended fasting, have you ever done one of those like 3, 5, 7-day fasts?
Yeah, and even intermittent fasting, there's a certain time when it's okay for me and it actually is good, but my body has to shift into fueling off of ketones. Once it makes that shift, then it's like I have a constant access to fuel. But until that point, it's no good. And it's been, the more I align with who I really am, the harder and harder it actually is for me to shift into that state. I've noticed there's a lot of, my body resists it. So I've been doing it a lot less than what I used to do. And that's been interesting because after 7 years of eating a certain way and like testing this out, I'm seeing a really clear difference on, oh, okay, my body doesn't like that anymore. It's directing me towards something else.
It's real, that shift that we shift. I mean, everybody changes over 7 years. We move in 7-year cycles, but the deconditioning really changes your my sense of it, because I want to say biology and it sounds really wacky. Oh, woo woo. But it changes your shape when you're aligning to what's right for you, not just the kinds of food, but the way that you take in food, when and how and with whom, and the people that you're attracted to because you do change up your diet. As an example, my husband and I don't go out to eat. We're at home. We're homebodies, and we would prefer to make our own food. And that might not be right for anybody else, but it's certainly right for us now, when in the beginning we would go eat out, but we don't do that anymore. What about for you, Mel? Your brain body system being right and needing less fuel. Does that sound accurate for you? How's that work for you?
Okay, so I'm a quad right, and I'm a little bit weird when it comes to analogies and metaphors. And when I think about fueling the brain when it comes to leftness versus rightness, for some reason I always think about the 5 and the 15. How, and it has nothing to do with channels or anything, but we know that the 5 is like a fixed rhythm and the 15 is more extremes. And so what I've seen is really that the leftness requires kind of like a more consistent intake, whereas the rightness, it's not consistent in that way. It's like I could go stretches of time where it doesn't even matter. And the brain is still braining, it's still doing what it does. But there is a recognition of when it's correct to take that in. And I won't lie, I have my own, I guess you could say, pattern in a way where I tend to eat less in the middle part of the day, but I like to really have a big meal in the evening. And it's what works for me. It's just that it doesn't have to be consistent. I don't have to fuel my brain consistently in the same way that perhaps somebody with leftness would do better with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, that can change. It can change with the seasons. It can change with what demands you're placing your body under. If you're going to be building a garden bed, you're going to need a lot more fuel. But generally speaking, the right brain body system, which I am too, Rob would call it fat brain if we overeat. And so, one of the tips that I'll give you, if you're a projector or any undefined open sacral, so manifestors and reflectors, be very careful who you eat around, because if you're sitting in a pile of hungry generators, you can easily find yourself going overboard and overeating and getting stuffed. And, we don't want to do that to our body, because then it's harder to digest. And the quad right in the room, I can go hours without eating. My brain feels more clear when I don't eat before a meeting or any heavy thinking. Right there. I did not eat a big meal right before. I usually don't get hungry until lunch. And I just had a couple of bites of food, protein and fat, and I'm good. Like, I don't really want anything more. I'll have my dinner later. Thank you very much. So the active brains run hot. And this is interesting. Hot drinks, for those of you who are left, even if you can't get in some food, just some, so if you need to go into a meeting, but you're not hungry, but you're a little bit concerned, or maybe you want a bit of a pick me up. Any hot drink will help stimulate the brain. So you can use that as a trick as well. Left active brains need regular fuel, because your brain is using up a lot of energy, because it wants to organize things, strategize things, link it, connect things together. And skipping meals can be genuinely costly for you, not just costly, but also uncomfortable. And that consistent eating rhythm is structural for this design. It is not a nice to have thing. It's a thing that's required. Would you agree, Naraya? Because I know Mel had to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what I've noticed too? The more mentally taxing whatever I'm doing with my brain, the more I need to fuel it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not so much with the physical, it's really
Mm-hmm.
the mental aspect of it for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the passive brains, like myself, they run a little bit cooler. So needing meaningfully less food to run well. Anybody else out there with the right brain body system? So top left arrow, it's pointing right. Get accused of being like eating like a little baby bird, or being told to eat more when you were a kid. Like, you're not eating enough. Like, no, I don't want any more food. Yep, exactly. So the eat every few hours rule that helps an active design like Naraya with her left brain, it can genuinely harm a passive one. So here's what I'll tell you to watch for if you're right. And for the left, if you are not eating enough food. So if you're right and you're eating too much, or if you're left, not eating enough, I want you to look at your sensory capacity. We call it your cognitive difference, your cognition. Okay, because you can use it as a diagnostic. It's a miracle. You can use it for health decisions. You can use it for everything to really attune to what's right for you. Just like you can use strategy and authority, add on this little piece that I'm teaching you right now and experiment with it and see. You'll see it in your body graph as smell, taste, outer vision, inner vision, feeling, and also touch. So underneath that, that was the tone. The color up above, the full spectrum of what we're going to look at, we have appetite, gatherer, and thirst, and we have touch, sound, and light. So you combine those so you can see we can have a lot of very different kinds of determinations. Naraya, I loved that joke that you gave me the other day. You said, do you think raw labeled determination because of not dying, like determination? Where did you get that from? That was funny.
That came out of my head. I was driving and I almost hit a deer. And I was like, I almost terminated your life, I said to it as it went off. And it was a baby deer. So I was kind of giving it a lecture. And then it made me think of that determination. Yeah. And then I laughed a lot because it's really funny because when you terminate something, it's the end. Mm-hmm. So the opposite of that would be determination and extending your life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're going to go into the breath of life, the environment. Mel, are you okay to stay?
Yeah, I was able to get more time, but my internet dropped out. So I'm back. Hopefully as well.
Cool. So we're going to talk about the next step in our variable mapping in the next order of business. And that is breathing in your life experience in the first part of your life, exhaling life experience in the second part of your life. So the part of your life is around 38 to 44, depending on your design. Whereas we were just talking about sun earth on the body side, it's about your body's internal operating system. Environment is about the external conditions. And this is about your longevity, more ease, less resistance. So we can see this actively in our life by looking at our lives like seasons. The first season of the life is breathing in or experiencing life. The second season of the life is exhaling or giving out of our gifts. You can also deconstruct this, and not a lot of people know this about it, because if you just learn, because nowadays, back in the day when I was learning this, there was a lot of people to learn human design from. Now we've got it all over the internet, and you've got it all over this advanced stuff too. But you can deconstruct this and you can take the high road. You know, it doesn't have to be literally like climbing the mountain. It can be figuratively as well. So how does that show up for you, Naraya? Do you recognize anything? If you think back to your life, Naraya is our witness. She's our storyteller. So she can tell us stories about her life and share the experience.
Yeah. So it definitely, so every place I've lived in, I'd have choices. Do I want this apartment or this house that's a one level, or do I want like the split level of a big house? Things like that. And I always choose the higher. Always. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a smaller apartment, I always choose the higher. And where I'm at now, I'm on the second level of my house, overlooking, I can see the whole yard and I can see everything. So that really does come out. Absolutely. And I might add, the places I was looking for a place to live, a house to buy in North Carolina, actually with all those floods, is in the exact area that just had all those floods. So in a way, it was like I was pulled to go that way, but also I didn't, because it was also not correct for me at that time.
Yeah. And it's
so
contextual.
If I would have let my mind take me, who knows what would have happened.
Right. And it's contextual. So being on the second floor, like you're mentioning, that makes a big difference. Being able to have a bigger, better view. And I've seen your view. It's gorgeous nature, to be able to see the trees and the pond and the duckies or whatever birdies are around, and be able to gather honey from the bees and take care of chickens and garden. Like, for those of us who are back to nature people, which fourth color are mountains, valleys, shores, it's just a delight. So we're going to go through that. It also has tone in this environment that we're going to look at. But caves, markets, and kitchens, you guys are the hardscape people. whereas mountains, valley, shores, landscape people. So we'll learn more about that and how important that is to your longevity. Now, your incarnative path. I got to tell you guys, when I first put this course together, I put in all the things. And then I said, well, there has to be some kind of prerequisite because I put in too much advanced stuff. So Loki and Jacqueline, they pulled me back, reined me back, Lavina, that's too much. So we're going to have an extended, like another course after this, where we're going to go into deeper layers and levels. One of the things I've been toying with adding is something we call link nodes. And besides the magic square, but link nodes, they show up in your life linked after a certain time in your life, like really linked. It's the one place where your body and mind connect, and you can be aware, really aware of what is there when it comes to your environment. So that's something I feel that we are privileged really to be this age, not pass at a younger stage. And to see that the correct operating condition for the vehicle is not just the environment on the body side. It's not just that, it's also linking to our ability to see and to see things correctly. And that develops over time, especially if you're like me with a 6 line. It takes time to grow up. It takes time to see things differently. I feel either my brain has gotten better, ladies, or I've really changed, because I feel like you remember how it was especially when I was going through my health issues. Oftentimes people would ask a question and I wouldn't answer the question that they're asking. I feel like I'm not doing that anymore. I'm actually laughing at jokes Oren said I didn't used to laugh to. I have a diagnosis of Asperger's, which is autism, by the way, for those of you who are not old enough to remember. But my autism, the autistic spectrum, I do not lean as badly, you could say, not a judgment call, love myself, but I don't have that particular way of seeing anymore. So I feel like it's maturity, it's deconditioning, it's health, it's vibrancy, it's aliveness, it's joy, it's vitality, it's all the things that I didn't have consistent access to back in the day. And by being in the right place, by feeding your brain correctly, settling into the particular place that your body was built to run on, to have its uniqueness and its cognitive difference. It's just so amazing and so incredible. So you'll have a personal perspective teacher. So is Ra. You'll get a lot of personal stories with me. So that's an example. Perspective, when we see things, and now we're moving over to the personality, it is about not just the content of what you're looking at, because obviously we could all be looking at, let's say, the same thing, a picture, a painting, and we'll resonate or identify with different aspects of that painting based on our experience, based on the colors we can see, based on our feeling in that moment, all kinds of things. Think of it as a frame, the view or perspective. So you're now looking at the bottom right-hand arrow on your body graph, that colored in black side. There should be an arrow on the bottom right. So there's 4, not the very bottom, but just, bottom. We're looking at whether your attention is naturally focused or peripheral. So Mel has a YouTube channel where she calls her YouTube channel The Peripheral Perspective, because she's a quad right. And when you listen to her talk, you get to hear her unique difference of perspective, that she sees so much more of the big picture than someone like me with this focused, absorbing, just active view that's like really, really looking at a very particular thing. And like, I miss the forest for the trees. Whereas with someone like Mel, peripheral is like trees. I'm like leaves. So it's a really neat thing to experience, and to be able to have peace with that, to not, I used to dog on myself, like, oh my God, somebody was typing at me in the chats, and they're like thinking I'm ignoring them, but I just was so focused. I didn't see the chat running right on the screen. Do you have any experiences of what it's like to be peripheral, Mel, that you'd like to share? You are aware of why you see things. Like if you've never noticed, why do I see more than everybody else?
Well, this is another one of those things where I feel like the contrast, I'm possibilities. view, and it is night and day when I get locked into the other side. And then it's so refreshing coming back because it is having that peripheral possibilities view. It's such a wide scope. And I feel like it's an incredible tool because having that counterpoint, it's not a bad thing. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people, they think that it's so bad to get distracted from what we're here to see, but actually your distraction, and when you catch it, it makes you appreciate coming back to what is natural and organic so much more fulfilling.
Yeah. And I love how it gives you a touchstone into your psychology. I have to thank Lasita at Human Design America for encouraging me to study with them because I was ready to go into regular psychology. I wanted to go back to college. And she really encouraged me to attend Human Design America College and learn. And without their support, I wouldn't be here because I couldn't afford it. They gave me a really good, long, like payment plan. So, any of you projectors out there who are having difficulty, do write us. We can help. We want to make sure that you can afford your education, which is the most important thing. All of you first line people, your education, investigation, very, very important. So, Naraya, what would you like to share with your perspective, the focus thing? Because I already shared mine.
Mm, yeah, the focus thing. It's real to be able to be so honed in on something that's like nothing else on behind this view exists. And at first, it would get kind of annoying because I wanted to be able to do multiple things and see multiple things. But then once I realized how deep into something that I can really go so quickly, just laser in like a burrow down into the hole to get down there to get to the root of things, it's just pretty spectacular. And I have power is my perspective. So it's about seeing who's up and who's down. And this really helps me when I'm working with others because I can get to where their pain point is pretty quickly and be able to tell what they could do to guide them out of it, guide them out of their pain.
Yeah, good point. In working not only with yourself and your own psychology of awareness, being able to be, as a projector, educated in this, being able to be fully present and aware of what your unique, differentiated viewpoint is and offer that to another without an agenda. This is the true awakening of a nine centered being who is being what we call an outer authority. And outer authority is so sweet. It's everything. I mean, if I didn't have this work to do, just I love being able to help people. But if I didn't have this work to do, I don't know what I would do with myself. Maybe play, but I would be a little bit bored with not being able to focus, penetrate, and absorb, which is what we projectors are really here to do and to guide the other through whatever it is that they're going through. And so we all have a different, unique perspective. We are designed to walk different paths because we have different nodes of the moon. The natal design has this road that you're traveling. It starts off on one end of the mandala wheel. And then at some point at the other side of the mandala wheel, you're like, hey, well, this is different. And it's really interesting. It's really fascinating. And it's where you fulfill your life's work and with whom you can see people that you actually have karma with, which I think is so fascinating. I find it really incredibly unique and special to use the map contextually in people's lives to help them find meaning, understanding, and validation. Oh, it's so much fun. So now you know, everybody, focused versus peripheral. If you're focused, you have a narrow, maybe sequential attention. If you're abstract, maybe it's cyclical, but it's going to be something that's really concentrated. Whereas peripheral, wide contextual attention, really spectacular. The awareness that comes from the big picture view and what, as in Mel's example, what's possibly true, or where are the possibilities leading you? Because our psychology is really about others. And when you look at the deeper spectrum, the colors, you're going to see survival, possibility, and power, and wanting, probability, and personal. And again, these all have tones underneath. So you're going to have a binary of how they show up. Not only that, you're going to have what Mel brought up, which is called distraction. And distraction is really interesting, cool, because it gets you in that space of awareness of psychology. Oh, this is aligned. And this other thing, not so aligned. When I start to get bitter, or when you, if you're a generator, get frustrated, you can look and see, am I looking at that in a way that's maybe not authentic to what I'm truly here to do, see, or say? And that's the coolest thing. It's like kid in a candy store as far as studying, but the secret keys, when you're playing a video game, I always think back to Oblivion when I was in my mid 20s with my husband. We bought it, I think it was an PlayStation and Oblivion, this game, but you had to get this thick book to be able to like know what you're doing and go, here's our human design thick book for life. That is so much fun to see. So last piece, really cool piece. Strategy and authority will get you there, but this is the jewel in the center of the lotus. This is the jewel in the center of the awareness. What we're really here for as nine-centered beings, awakened, enlightened, not as in glowing on a mountain and floating in the air, but as in truly, unconditionally, unabashedly loving ourselves deeply as we are. This motivation, personality, sun, earth, what actually moves you. We're looking at, if your arrow is pointing left, like Naraya's, top right arrow now, everybody, look down at your map where the sun or earth is. If it's pointing left, you're strategic and you have more of a planning mind. This is about your mind being really good for others. So selling strategies or giving strategies, like really figuring things out for other people. Whereas if you're a right arrow, like Mel is, receptive, being a resource for other people, not knowing where things come from. It's just like life is unfolding out in front of you. And just to be able to have that conversation with Mel, all of a sudden, it's like she's psychic. I know she's psychic, but I mean, it's really, really cool to be able to have this awareness. And you see the term responding there. I want to reframe responding for you, because if you look into the deeper layers of human design, everybody responds. Everybody responds. It's not just a generative thing. We all respond at the color level. And so by being available or aware and getting your own mind out of the trip, so not trying to get or like take or do anything that isn't in integrity, but actually giving of oneself truly, it's the best thing in the world, because it allows you to connect with what's in front of you and to give of yourself and fulfill your life's work. And I know this means a lot to Mel because she's a 5-1 and 5-1s are left angle, which means you're here for very particular people. There is a karmic connection, a past life connection that you have with people. 5-1s are some of my favorite people, but that's a lot of expectation heaped up on you. How do you feel about that? Well, you don't have feeling cognition, but how does that land with you, Mel, as far as what do you want to share about being receptive and people just pulling stuff out of you?
Well, I think that the most eye-opening thing was all of the pressure in my whole life that I felt that there was to remember things, and how I'm taking things in at such a deep, deep level that so much of the time, and it is truly when I am present to it, I've noticed that I have to be present to the thing for that thing to then get pulled out of me by the other. But there can be a lot of stuff that I can seem to be there, but I'm not actually there. And it's not to say that the stuff isn't going in, maybe it is, but being unscripted, especially with my undefined ajna open head and just literally showing up and also trusting in the practicality of my fifth line personality. Because this is the thing, is that we are breaking things down, but it is holistic in nature. And it's really when you start appreciating how it all works together like a symphony orchestra, that is really when it starts living itself through you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when life is lived through you, I could remember the first time that experience happened, and it's just a magical thing to see. This is the magic. This is the wonderment. This is the awe, the beauty, the whole reason I got into human design. I saw it. I want it. This is it. This is so cool. So, fear, hope, and desire, need, guilt, and innocence. We have binaries. We have tones underneath. We have an intelligence of our awareness that is truly here to be, all of us can be an outer authority for another. Whether you're a well like Mel, or whether you're focused and strategic, active like Naraya, or somewhere in between. I'm in between. I'm mostly left, but the awareness that comes from knowing this stuff about yourself, it's priceless. It's like, I could go on and on and on, but if you want to screenshot it, everybody, this is the slide that kind of goes over or gives you an orientation to what we just talked about and where it comes from and what it's about. Just a little bit, a little teaser. And I hope you liked that taste of how that maybe helps you in your awareness. So to be able to learn stuff, very technical term, what surprised you? If you could share that with us, that would help not only us, but you. What surprised you? Did you get any validation from this teaching and this example where we had a conversation? It's just an interesting conversation among friends, among colleagues, people who have been in the experiment for quite a while now, and maybe just a little bit beyond you time-wise or experience-wise, but not that we're any better and not that we're any more special than anyone else, just that we have been working with this information. What comes to mind when it comes to health is that your design tells you where to start. So what I want you to do now is to look down at your body graph. If you have an advanced map, you'll be able to see, and know how to read it, you'll be able to see what challenges there be when it comes to your tonal cognitions. And if you cannot recognize your tonal cognition right now, don't stress, no worry. But that's exactly where we need to start, usually, especially on the body side, for those of us who are right, to deconstruct the ways in which you're going to be supported and nourished or take in life, as well as be nourished by life outside the life that you're living, the experience that you're having. Now we're going to go into the 6 pillars. What are the 6 pillars that you are working with or having challenges or issues? Because I'm going to give you another gift if you stay and you pay attention and you do a little exercise with me. Our bodies are not designed to be in isolation, and healing in isolation is very difficult. All systems have to work together for our bodies to run correctly. Like I mentioned, your design shows you where to start if you know how to read it, and we do. How each pillar applies specifically to you is the question. So we know without a shadow of a doubt, for certainty, that every single design is unique. Nutrition is the first thing. So how is your nutrition, if you want to play with me, on a scale of 1 to 10? All you have to do is write it down so that way you can look back and see. Scale of 1 to 10. How is your nutrition? Are you getting nourished? Or do you have issues when you go and get blood? Are they telling you you don't have enough D? You need more B vitamins, that kind of thing. How's your nutrition? How's your nourishment? I'm more of a food, but I'm not afraid of supplements. Sleep. What about sleep? How's your sleep? 1 to 10. How's that going for you? For me today, because that changes with the day, not so great. I did go lay down, tried to turn off the brain, couldn't do it. But I was so excited about this webinar and had a lot of things on my mind. Sleep, yes. How's your sleep? 5. Okay. Next. Movement. Do you get regular movement? My homework assignment for you, if you're anything under 5, is turn on some music and dance. Okay. Get some movement. We always turn on the music in the morning when my husband and I are in the kitchen together and just getting groovy with it, get your movement in. Stress. Are you working at a job that you hate? Do you hate going to work? Are you frustrated, angry, bitter, or disappointed with your work? I better not see stress at a scale of 1 to 10 at a really bad level for any of you who are following your strategy and authority, because your strategy and authority should help you. If you're having trouble following your decision-making process, this is the next step, because it is going to help you de-stress. The biggest thing that Roz promised to you, 7 years, you experiment with human design, including this, because this is human design, guys. Even though it's not in the definitive book mentioned anywhere, this is really important. It's really critical and key. Follow your strategy, honor yourself as your own authority. And in 7 years, you get a body that's more relaxed. Doesn't that sound nice? Not as stressed. Okay. Supplements. Do you need, how's your performance? If you like high performance, you like the edge. I'm one of those stack the decks in my favor kind of people. Wouldn't it be nice if you knew what supplements to take and how much and when and all that stuff? You have your own authority right there inside of you. You don't need somebody else to give you a protocol and tell you what to do. This is really cool. One of the reasons I became my own doctor is so that I could actually understand some, not all, I don't know at all, but some of what's going on with this hormonal chemistry balancing in this body. Mindset. Last piece. What about mindset? These are the 6 pillars of bioenergetic health. Scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Mindset. Excellent. Now, if you look, which one of these needs the most help? Okay. If you're super stressed out, that's probably the one that you want to go and do. What's your favorite activities for de-stressing, Mel? Is a quad right projector, splenic? You have a rockin' bod, gotta say. Does that de-stress you? You gotta tell people, like, holy moly, mother of God.
Line projection field.
That's your mind, honey. I saw that body. You can't hide it from me.
Well, I have to say, obviously, as a quad right, activity, it's a thing, right? I'm not meant to be chronically active. I'm also projector. I'm not sacral, but I'm a splenic projector in aligned health, right? That's what we're doing. And also love of the body. For me, that's my luck, my law and protection. So I really have a balance. And it's crazy because I'm looking at this slide right now, and I have to say, on all 6, I am really dialed in. And I am not crazy OCD about it. I'm actually pretty relaxed about it. And it's not about perfection either, but it really has been about balance for me. And it's been about prioritizing self-care from a place of finally loving myself. So sometimes for me, nourishing myself is doing a workout in my home gym. Sometimes it's nerding out and it's studying human design or something else that's lighting me up. There's different ways. It could be taking something in, food. But I just feel like we're all unique in that way. And the more that you really get to know who you are and how your body is most aligned, it changes everything.
Sure does. Absolutely. These pillars, your body is not about being isolated away from the things that nourish us and protect us and help us feel safe and loved and supported and encouraged and able to be empowered and creative and all these wonderful things. If one of these don't work, sleep as an example, oh my God. If we don't have sleep, we don't have the ability to regenerate and to be vital. And every design is different. So your design is going to show you where to start. How about for you, Naraya? Anything that you came to mind that you want to share with the 6 pillars of bioenergetic health that we have here? Because it's not something that Ra taught everybody. It's not a health freak like we are.
Yeah, so going through them, I had my little notepad and I'm writing stuff down. And just like Mel, like, I feel really good with all of these things. And part of it is because I recognize when one of these levels starts to get unbalanced. I'm able to recognize it and then do something about it, or whatever the circumstances. US Mel was her way to de-stress, talking about her rocking body. I have very specific ways that I like to de-stress. And for me, singing and dancing around is tops for sure, because I have this active body movement thing that I have to do, and just something about doing all of that. And it makes me feel so good. so good just to do that. And I know everybody out there watching has that one thing that when they do it, it just makes them, it turns their whole day upside down, flips it around and makes the bad day into a good day. And that right there, that's your de-stressor. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's different for everybody. So finding your tools, we can look at a map and say, hey, have you tried this? This might be fun for you, if you're having real difficulty of knowing what to do. But when it shows us real consistent levels of requirements for activity and certain kinds of activity, it's such an easy thing to see once you've learned how to see it and to be able to share with somebody. And it makes a big difference, that support. So, nutrition, your vitamin and mineral density, your gates can reveal what your body builds from. And this is the thing that's new. Okay. So, if you've taken this with me before, I have a discount for you. Just write hello at Human Design Mastery, only with me, please. Because if you've taken this with me before. If you feel like going the next step further and going into the advanced stuff next year, then I want to encourage you to come join me again, because I love seeing my past students and their progress. And I feel like it levels up the group when we have people who have been experimenting for a long time. Not the only reason why I bring such fabulous professionals into the group. It's because the frequency is one of the things Ra would say, get the frequency right. And he said it in context with this material. So we're going to be looking at codon mapping, experimenting. And I've had some magical moments with my students and clients by looking at their codons. I don't think I told you guys, but I know I didn't tell Jovian Archive, and I'll tell everybody right now, I don't care. It's not like I'm trying to keep the secret only for people who pay, but I'll tell you that I had a client, beautiful, wonderful woman. And for 2 to 3 years, she was having vertigo, like really bad. And she was in one of my classes, not the health class, but we started to look into her health. And as a, with me in my classes after, okay, everything's done. Do you have any other questions? Let's geek out, And so that was one of those moments. And I found that she was a vegan. And as a vegan, but with a requirement in her body graph map that she required more protein, looking at her variable mapping and seeing that her gravity was dissonant from her sun Earth. So her color was dissonant, okay, gravity. And when I looked up the codon and the amino acid that codon printed for, it was glycine. And I said, oh, I have glycine on my counter. I've been taking it. It's wonderful. Why don't you get some glycine? Give it a try. Within 7 days, she doesn't have that vertigo. I mean, like debilitating vertigo anymore. And now how I narrowed it down to that, because that wasn't the only thing, I found her husband, because they're both my clients. She had such an amazing reading. She referred to me a bunch of people. One of her people is him. And I looked at his color and found that he took care of the other dissonance, but that one needed support. And this is the thing that I want to shout from the rooftops. I want to study it. I want, AI says, oh, I'm like, oh God, okay, fine. I need humans. Let's go see, what does this work like for you? And talking about sleep, seeing that, in transits, how things can really get you not able to sleep, or your dreams getting activated by transits. That is incredibly important to know about in human design. Rest, naps, solo sleeping. We are going to take a brief look at the ability for, Ra calls it sleep hygiene. I don't know what else to call it, but how your not self thrives on your exhaustion. So if you're exhausted, to use some actual, everybody who's got a dream issue or a sleep issue, they know, and they've tried a lot of things, but they probably haven't tried the human design stuff. So we can see if we can help you. Movement, dancing, walking, playing, type specific activity that generates, not depletes you, not overdoing it, stress, processing it correctly. If you don't process your stress, if you're stuffing it, you're stuffing your anger. Ooh, it's going to manifest as a symptom. Acne, liver issues. You're going to have problems or challenges. And your design shows your limits of what you are sensitive to, the openness in the design, showing the vulnerabilities. We can help guide you to be aware and what to do about that. Now, I want to say with supplements, you cannot out supplement a bad diet. And I'm not talking about good food, bad food, health food, organic food. You could eat regenerative farmed animals that have been treated like gods. And if you're not digesting correctly, then you might have an issue. Gate amino acids point to what's missing, like I mentioned with that example, using glycine to help with the body. And then mindset. The ego eye that lies is what I call it. Your strategy and authority can help replace that not self tendency, that looping. When I came to this in 2012, my mind said, I can't do anything right. Nobody loves me. That was my mantra every time I cried. And now we do not have that issue. Thank you very much. And thank God. These 6 pillars are important for you to create and enjoy wealth. In this new era, too many people are ignoring their health in order to build wealth. And then when you get the wealth, you spend all your wealth trying to get back your health. So we want to cut that tendency. We want to nip it in the bud. We want to help you get your 6 pillars in gear, in alignment. And that's what's new as well, because Raw does not teach that to you. So which pillar do you most need work on? I think we asked earlier, if you comment in the chat now, what are you going to do about it? What's correct for you, for your authority? When Naraya was commenting about, hey, I can make a decision. I can see I'm out of balance. I can make a decision. I can do something. I want to take this opportunity, preach from the soapbox, thank you very much, to let all of you know that strategy is not something that is keeping you hostage and unable to talk and do what you came here to do. Like, I have, for whatever reason, my mind got in a funk of seeing a bunch of projectors. I was just watching, like, and they're all dogging on human design because they're feeling like they are disempowered, when I find human design the most empowering thing in the world. I imagine that they're not learning it correctly. Like, I learned from a woman who was given an analysis reading, and she was a mental projector. And that analyst, a man, told her she had to follow her husband's sacral. I'm not kidding. I was so pissed for her. I was like, no, honey, no. Somebody else told me their teacher told them that they couldn't do any social media because they had to be recognized and invited. So you can hear the pidgin English from the Hawaii girl going, no, sorry, guys, wake up. You do not need permission to be yourself, okay? Projector authority strategy is for the big things in life, So off soapbox, sorry. Not sorry. All the 6 things working together. We want to invite you to join us. We've had a nice conversation. I'm happy to continue on in the journey if you would like to stay and explain to you all of these wonderful things that we have for you. But I want to respect my girls because it's later in the day for them, much later. And we are projector. And, we've all got things to do. So if you're ready and willing, come join us, humandesignmastery.com. Look at the aligned health labs. And if you have anything else to share, Mel or Naraya, I'd love to have you stay. But if you are ready to go and have dinner and do the family thing, whatever, please let us know if there's anything else that you want to tell people about the experience and the journey of, especially being in groups with strangers, like people you don't know. That's kind of nerve wracking. Like, I don't want to be with people. What if they laugh at my whatever issue? For one thing, you guys know you can always message us privately. Yeah.
Well, and the one thing that I'll say about that, having taken countless classes of yours over the last 6, almost 7 years, I have never felt more at home, more comfortable, more recognized, more surrounded by awesome people. I mean, I even met Naraya in your classes, and look what happened from that. So it's been great. It's been great from the perspective of being a student. It's been great from being part of the support team. So, what I can say is that human design mastery, also in everything that I've been involved in thus far, has been an incredible journey. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what unfolds with this cohort.
Nice.
Yeah, I echo what Melanie said too. The group of people that get called in from your frequency, Lavina, has just been pretty spectacular. We have the best people come join us, and we have so much fun in all the stuff that we end up doing. And like Lavina just said too, if you don't want to share something in front of the whole group, you can always message us and we can address it privately or anonymously, anything like that. And a lot of times, questions people are afraid to ask end up being exactly what somebody else needs to hear too. So that's definitely
Absolutely.
encouraged. Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you for remembering to bring that up because it really is true. What makes this course different? My teacher, Andrea Reiko Wolf, for the DDP practitioner certification, one of her highest recommendations is that you do this work, primary health system variable um, training, in a group. And one of the reasons that's true is because we're using the energy of the group to commit to something. Anybody ever sign up for whatever and then you just don't do it? But if you start to make friends and you start to make connections and you open up to whatever vulnerabilities you're comfortable with sharing, and Lavina will go first. She will tell you all the weird things, unbidden, accidentally, oops. But it kind of puts people to rest. Like, if it's okay for her to be, yeah, Ajna, embarrassed about this thing, then maybe it's okay for me to open up too. And because this is health, I know it's very sensitive. So instead of the business course where there were more people and we were just throwing it all in the live training, what we're going to do this time is we're making it much smaller groups. So 20 people max. And I'm not going to add in people if people drop out at the 14-day window of canceling and getting a full refund. Okay. So it's a limited time only. This is my first time doing it for Jovian, but not first time taking you through this kind of level of the knowledge. And you can message us. Please don't everybody message me every week, but you can definitely send us voice messages now on our platform, which is really cool because me, I'm acoustic. I got lots of fives. I need to hear sometimes where you're coming from because the word on the page, hi cat, does not necessarily carry the frequency. So this is Apollo. He's my healer cat. He is a 20-pound Maine Coon, and he's the most amazing cat ever. So you'll get to meet him. And in Human Design Mastery, you'll be able to join us on a payment plan and get a full, what is it now? We're going to start on the 17th. So you're going to get a full month because all the way up until the end of the month, either, if you don't like the course, if for whatever reason you're like, nah, I don't want to do this, you can keep the free training that I'm going to give you, which is Intro to Human Design with Draw and I, where we learn about this work. And last warning, if you come to this and you expect to be certified within 12 weeks, I have to break it to you. This took me 8+ years to learn, much less. I'm now at 14. I don't feel like I mastered it yet. I'm getting there, but take some time. So you absolutely can use this. I'm not going to be the police and tell you can't, but you're not going to be certified, just so everybody knows. And please don't bring your own clients, your own family questions to class. I have to see and work with the person's chart at the level that everybody's at for that week. So I'm telling you, my expectations is please don't skip ahead. Ask me what's present and alive inside of you. Yes, but try to stick with the group. And this time we're not skipping ahead because I'll only release, you're going to get materials every week. You get materials, trying to get it to you by Sunday morning. And then classes. We're going to have 2 Thursdays, maybe a Friday, maybe a Saturday, depends on how many people sign up. Okay. And if this is you, so you're a NHD practitioner, you're like, I want to know the variable stuff. Yes, you want to experience the health dimensions of human design firsthand and add PHS to your practice. I am not certifying you, but I have authorization to mentor you because I am an analyst teacher. So if you need help, here we are. If you are a health curious individual, you're not a professional, and you're ready to go beyond type and strategy and authority into your genetic differentiation experience for your body and your mind. This is, as Rob would say, the unique differentiated capacity or your awareness that is unique to you, that is part of the Satori that you can have, the awakeness of being a nine-centered human being. Wellness professionals. If you're seeking a human design grounded framework that personalizes nutrition, environment, and lifestyle. Now, it's not that I will have the time to think about everything and see all of everything for everybody. But that's why I have my assistants with me. I was going to say girls, but got 2 guys now too that are going to potentially be able to see what I don't see because we all have our different framing and experiential process. And that's why I love the groups and I love taking you on a journey, an adventure, a joyride. So, quick reminder, if you just joined us and you want to get this, your quick free membership intro course, this is something that the link is coming at the end and there's no purchase necessary. I absolutely want to give this to you. If you already have this course, I want you to give it to a friend. Stay with me until the end. You can have the link to claim it, nothing to buy. Okay, so that's the end of our training. Maine Coons are the best. My husband had them when he was a kid and he loves them. I have 2 now. That's the end of our training on the personal level. Now I want to talk to those of you who are on the professional level, or you're a student that just loves the knowledge. Okay. If you're ready for personalized health, I'm going to give you a snapshot into my mind because I don't remember Raw talking about this. Maybe he did. Maybe it's buried somewhere back there. But if you want the ability to read your map, and if you had a health blueprint, wouldn't that help you? Because one of the cool things that we're doing this time around, Ryan just showed me this super cool software that he's been building, sponsored by Jovian, about all the things, like amazing things. And we're going to use this software to help. I'm going to process what people are saying, their intake form. If you give me your permission, obviously, but their intake form and what they've been saying every week. And we're going to give you a map at the end that gives you a reminder, a blueprint of what you're about from Raw and from the words out of your own mouth. And of course, if it's right for you, we can give you your suggestions too. Been experimenting a lot with AI lately. And AI is not good enough yet, guys. It's not good enough to get to the advanced stuff, maybe in a couple years. But for now, you have us, and we are amazing at what we do. The map that shows you how your body is designed to eat, move, rest, and heal based on your unique genetic blueprint, imprint, not generalized protocols that maybe you've tried a bunch. My first naturopath that I went to gave me a protocol for supplements that were $1,000 a month. And I got so bloated. I'm not kidding. It was awful. I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to know what's right for you and experiment more deeply and truly with what's right for you, not spraying, willy-nilly, but like laser pointed, focused, penetrating, absorbing, precise advice. And that comes from us projectors who have mastered the system. We are geeks. We have to admit it. We love it, truly. Now, Raw says that your body isn't fixed. You have to begin to truly be so aware of who you allow in your aura. This is true for me as well, aurically at a distance. I don't know about you guys, but I can feel it when somebody's not right for me. Their frequency's off. I can't watch certain things anymore, listen to certain things. It's just like immediately shut down. Can't, nope. This is not for me. I'll just tune them out. So to resonate physically to what is correct for you, back to the body, means that you have an enriched quality of life. And that in and of itself expands your capacities, your horizons. If you learn anything from me, you'll know that transformation is the name of the game. When we come to human design, you'll see it in your fellow students. You'll see it happen over time, over the years. You'll see what a difference this work makes for you. And to experiment helps you connect to your authenticity, your true self, really, as a 9. This is the center, the body graph, 9-centered human being. Because you begin to differentiate and you align with your brain body system to your uniqueness, it's like dominoes. Everything else falls into place. It not is necessarily like a straight line. We have twists and turns, we have life happening, but the alignment itself is focusing of the cognitive possibility out of us. And there are 4 places that we have cognition in our control panel at the top there. Our natural heightened sensory capacity. Do you know if you're designed to be a mouth breather, a nose breather, eyes opened, eyes shut? Those are things we can absolutely see, and that makes all the difference in the world to experiment with, particularly in times of stress and pressure. So because your body is not fixed, what happens? We physically change based on who's in our aura. I gave you that little drop of advice earlier. I gave it yesterday too, because I want people to know how important it is to have the right person in your aura. Anybody else have an issue with people when you eat with them? Your nervous system's all out of whack, no matter how much you breathe. You know, you get an altered digestive system with some people. The person you sleep next to changes your hormonal balance. You don't get as much rest. It's just about good sleep. The work environment conditions your immune response. I remember, so sensitive, listening to one of my teachers be sick on the class teaching. And later that day, I got a cold. Like, I got all her stuff. You know, when I was a massage therapist, I used to pick up people's stuff too. It was just, so protect your aura. Lucky us, we get to do this work online. It helps. Relationships ending or beginning can create measurable physical shifts. I almost said miserable, but it's true too. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you ready? How ready are you to stop guessing about your body? If you could type your number into the chat. If you're above an 8 or 9 or 10, I want you to see this material and how well it works for you. And I want to see you in class if it's right for you to do. Type your number, let me know. If your health is wealth, like it is for me, I know this is a very important investment in your own nourishment and capacity for shifting in these radically changing times. Oh, I'm so glad to see that you're ready, because you know, Lavina, if you know Lavina, she loves to speak about herself in third person, apparently, but reward people who are committed. I'm a contagion. I infect you with knowledge and passion and purpose. And so, are you ready? If you're ready, let's look at the past and the future. Okay, past crumbling. Ladies, I had this awareness. If the institutions and the government and the bargains and the family structure and the churches and if everything's crumbling, what about our stomach? Our stomach, if this 40 is physically the stomach, if we are getting cut off in the new era because that 1949 channel is breaking, no wonder if people are having immune systems, or issues, what about digestive issues too? It seems to me that there's a lot of digestive issues with people nowadays, a lot of digestive issues. So that's the past crumbling. Future, well, instead of bonding over food, we're looking at maybe people getting a little too busy to eat. I don't know, maybe. Let's see. That's the cross of planning for the last 400 something years, 1615. That was the era of the projector. I saw somebody on YouTube. This is the era of the projector that we're moving into. Please look at the body graph. That's projected. This is manifesting generator. We're moving into a manifesting generator place in space now. It is their time. We as projectors, our time flowered, we developed out of this time that was ready for us to be able to guide and advise. This is a guidance channel over here. This is a, nah, don't bother me. I'm too busy. I'm going to do my own thing, please. I don't need you anymore. Thank you very much. So what I'm worried about or concerned about are our projectors moving into this new era and not knowing this about themselves, that it's really easy to burn out with this energy. Yeah. Every time, every way that this energy comes in, but particularly twice a year with the sun and the earth, that 3420 coming in is powerful. It'll either knock me flat on my ass or I will be up and out doing stuff constantly. So know this about yourself. Do you have this communal affection and loyalty in your own design? How is it for you? How does it make you feel sweet and successful? The power and charisma and spontaneity and ability to be who you are with awareness now, in contemplation and wisdom. That's a cool thing to see. So I'm walking you through this shift from tribe. This is projected and tribal. Okay, the old era that's crumbling. And this is going to be you. Everyone has everything in the body graph. So you're going to feel this. You probably already do. The self-empowerment of the individual awakening. It's the new Maya. It's the new story. It's the new game. The new kind of awakening in the new era. But with that channel breaking right here. So instead of old socialism, we're moving into a new kind of, hopefully not crony capitalism. Hopefully, we'll see. Takes a while to get there. And I want to now bring in something that's not often seen in regular human design training. I don't remember Ra going over this, but we're moving from a first color era. I do remember him talking about that, 1960 something, right? We moved into that, but we're moving into a 6 color era. Big diff. And what is it that the 6 line and color bring? Apathy, hypocrisy, narcissism. Anybody else seeing that out in the world? Well, I have those eyes. I have a color 6 eyes, so I can see that. I have 6 line as well. So I see it. I don't know about you, but this is one of the reasons why, because of the shift. Okay. It's not like it's going to happen overnight. It's been happening. So appetite, this is another way, the way my brain thinks, well, what if appetite, or the requirement to eat according to appetite and to have a digestive system that doesn't do as well with mixed foods. I don't know about you if you have digestive issues, but simplifying your meals makes it easier to digest, doesn't it? So that's the old era that's crumbling. New era. What about light? Indirect light. So anybody else have those light ones, beds, bulbs, machines? Yeah, that's the thing. I imagine the indirect light codes. I was talking to a lady giving her an analysis, and I'm like, I kept hearing light codes. And I'm like, does light codes mean something to you? The third time I said, does light codes mean something? She pulled up this book about light codes. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. Light codes, red light devices, lasers, light wands. And then eventually we'll get to the direct therapies like solar therapy, sun gazers, light eaters, sun worshipers. Isn't that nice? That we have the advantage of seeing that, hey, this is what's coming, frequency, light is frequency. Caves, everybody living in their house. Don't you see that? Living in their house, like not getting out of the house. For a while, I wanted to live in a motorhome. I wanted my own motorhome cave. Like, take it like a hermit shell, crabbish, going cruising around in my thing. No, that's not for me. That's the opposite of what it is to be a mountain person. Shores, people moving to Ibiza, Bali, all those places, all of our expats going overseas. Can you see that? That's one of the things. Back to nature. So instead of density, you see the crumbling of our inner societal structures in the cities. That's happening, right? And people are like escaping back to nature, back to the land. Shores people. Where's my border place where I can feel safe? And then survival. So, 2 more things. Survival of How am I going to survive? Where am I going to survive? Is the family, tribe, government, institution, church going to survive? We see that all around, don't we? And then also we see the move to personal. We see the rise of the creator economy. If you are not a creator doing your own thing in 20 years, come back and tell me, because I don't want to say guarantee. My mind wanted to say guarantee, but I'm betting that a lot of us are going to be doing our own thing because it's in the transit and what that brings. The empowerment of being your own boss. This is the entrepreneurial channel for those of you who don't know business language stuff. Okay, 3420. Last piece, the fear mongering on the TV, where you think you have choice, but the news channels are owned and the TVs and whatever are owned by 6 different companies. That's it. They tell us what they want us to hear. And then as we move into the new era, the new age and stage of innocence, the innocence of being oneself, the Buddha, Bodhisattva, the awareness of simply the breath of life. So I wanted to take some time to get you. Thank you, Lisa. 1961 was color 1 when we shifted gears. So one of the things that I'll tell you, if you look at this, if you're advanced and a geek like me and us, where we're just like, want to know this stuff, watch as you who have activations in the old era and we shift into the new era, those of you who have activations in the new era, watch as the world focuses on you and where you get lit up by that attention and awareness. Look, attention, the new era, everybody trying to get attention. YouTube creators, yep. Health, wealth by working for oneself. Spirit, and abundance is strictly a question of spirit, but people are going to be selfish, and that's apparently okay. Enlightened selfishness. One last piece. One more piece, guys. Okay, this is the era of angels, and the new era, aliens. Like, that's the frequency we're dealing with here, and don't you see it? I want to hear what you guys have to say, because I haven't done this with you, and I've just been geeking out about this and loving the fact that I'm seeing it and going like, oh, duh, I'm not such a brilliant person, but yeah, it's there and it's real. You can see when in your own life, whether or not your human design is real, but to see it out in the world and to see what a difference it makes to know about that stuff and not get caught up in it. That's the thing. That's the cool thing. So, and I want you to see in this rise of the Phoenix, if you look at the design, even if you don't have these activations, you are going to feel this because it is going to be receptive in you. If you feel it because you have planets that activate, there too, you are one of the keys to the new era. You are one of the people, the role models. So Ra's era, first line era, all our first line authoritative people, that was their time. Next year, 6 lines, it's your time to shine. Okay, your time. Look at your design. Modern enlightenment is complete and utter self-acceptance. Are you ready? Because this is the time. Somebody said, well, should I wait until next year? Actually, it was on Jovian, right when I logged in on the YouTube channel. Should I wait till next year to do the personal success, which Mel and Naraya are going to do pretty soon after we finish this? I'm like, you want to do it as soon as possible. It's like planting a tree. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Now's the time. If it's right for you, not because I'm telling you what to do, but sooner rather than later, to go through these 4 transformations. Besides type, strategy, authority, these radical transformations, we're going to talk about codons, openness, trajectory. And the early bird pricing for this very special offer is just $797. I'm going to tell you why that's such a great deal. Because the first version of my program, in somewhat of this fashion, where I had multiple weeks, long time, $1297. And without the blueprint, without the My Body Graph analysis, you get 2 of those from Ra, or any of Ra's videos, you get 4 videos. And if you already have those analyses or those videos, you just get a credit at either My Body Graph or Jovian. The cohort itself is $797, the live cohort, whichever one is right for you to do. And the next cohort is going to be 997. I cannot promise you that I'll do it. This time I'm training my team so that they can take it on so that I can continue to create for you because I love new and improved. Yes. Third line, trial and error, experiment. So beyond the core program, you get that $300 value of 2 charts analysis, 4 of Ra's lectures, the newcomer course that I'm giving you, and you can keep even if you need a refund for whatever reason. We will not dog on you or ask you or go after you if you need to refund. So don't worry about that. Body graph mapping. Ooh, I love it. That's what we're calling it. Body graph mapping, this new software that we are creating with, I think Ryan said that we have 25 million words, I think, in this new program. So it's not raw AI, it's something different. And honoring your body's intelligence through strategy and authority requires real determination. It requires gumption and commitment. And it's not easy when you've got people around you naysaying and picking on you and saying, "Why are you doing that thing?" You need people like us to help support you. And I know I used to be very uncomfortable with sales. Like, I don't want to push people. I want to tell them what to do. But this is really important. It is the most important thing, most important place in human design, anywhere in the material. In fact, Ra actually, in one of his lectures, I can't remember how he places it, but if you can't follow strategy and authority, he says you got to go over here first, sooner rather than later. If you are a right brain body system, like Mel, like me, get to this sooner because you've been conditioned very deeply from childhood because we are so sensitive. And it makes a difference just to know. And it's not like you have to do this all the time rigidly, like Lavina. Yesterday, I told a story about how I made that mistake. But it's to be able to know how you are different. And Dolly Parton died this week. I know I made a really awkward shift there. That's really big difference. But I promised you a live analysis. And so here we are. Let's take a brief look at Dolly Parton. To take a moment too for love her or argue with her, and everybody gets gullible. Huh? 6th line, new era, gullibility. Okay. Everybody gets the wool pull over their eyes by whatever lies that other people have maybe convinced them of. This woman donated $1 million when there was no COVID vaccine, and she herself got the vaccine. Unfortunately, she made a big deal of it in a uncomfortable way to those of us who either cannot or will not do vaccines. I have gotten so much better since stopping vaccines personally, because I told you I had autism. Ooh, look at that. I don't really feel like I have it in the same way that I did back in the day. This woman, whether or not you love her or believe the stories, and I'm going to say lies because there's got to be a lot of lies out there. This is what we're going to do. We're going to look at her life through her chart. And actually, I'm going to do this really quick, not as in depth as I'd like to, but I'd like to do it with you guys, ladies, whoever wants to join me and like geek out about it if you're interested, because she has a very well documented life and she was a beautiful person, very kind, very generous. So we're going to watch those 4 arrows and in the deeper analysis, 6 pillars on a real documented chart using only what she said publicly about her life. I've spent the last couple of days obsessing and geeking out about this woman. I even cried a little bit with the tears, the wounding and the loss of a soul, and how betrayed I felt for her because of her belief in the medical system. Not saying don't do what she did if that's right for you. I'm just saying what a sad thing to see. Generator, wait to respond, okay, as a strategy. Sacral, available to respond. Sacral authority, guttural response. We see a 4-6, single definition, right angle cross of laws. I love the laws. They are such a special, and wishes, like Mel. I love, and it's interesting, fascinating. When I was going through my Chiron return, I got a lot of 3rd gate people in my life. And that's where my Chiron is, as far as the planetary asteroid that represents the wounding, that we are all here to heal. All of us have a wound. When you're looking at this, is that it's just the map, not the territory. And this woman gave hope to a nation. She gave hope. That's her. Let's go to the advanced so I can make it a little bit bigger and read it for you under properties. There we go. Okay. Hope as a motivation. Anti-theist. Transference being guilt. So I'm going to be real heretical and say this is just my opinion, but it's also some doctors' opinions too. If you read the article that I wrote in memory of Dolly, I've actually, now it's like book size, it's so big, going into all of her cycles and like times of her life and links to videos and such. But if you look, she had an amazing quality about her of being like a guru. And I'm not wanting to exalt her and put her on a pillar, but she was also super funny. And I find people with this channel super funny. They have the ability to tell stories. She had an amazing ability to tell stories. Stories in the stop codon, she had all three. So empowerment as an individual for her was to go through a really transformative experience. And if you go look on Google and you look at, just search her name. I did when she died, and a bunch of butterflies flew into the page. How recognizing is that of the sixth line? Because the role model is designed to go through a three-part life process. The caterpillar stage, first 30 years, between 30 and 50, where they cocoon, and then 50 and beyond, role models, uniqueness. That woman was very interesting woman. And funny, like so much fun to be able to look at other people's lives and see what they did with it. And if we look, that she was an extremist, that she was definitely about protecting. She cared about children. You know, this is where we parent. She wanted children. She couldn't have them. Look, ladies, what do we see here? And what usually happens in Saturn? Saturn brings some pain, discipline, punishment. It gets rid of childish things. And if you've got Mars and Saturn connecting up in something that's affecting you in your design, isn't it a potential that we can have some issue? And as an example, this is biologically speaking, the ovaries and the testes, the reproductive organs, as far as the sacral is concerned. So she had her hysterectomy and she was unable to have children. So she said, everybody's children could be my children. And she created a library to be able to donate books to for people. So yesterday I bounced around between some of these cycles. And only reason I'm bringing that up here with you is that the cycles show you the circumstances, events, people, places, things, experiences. They are movement towards purpose. You look down at that map and you think you've got it all nailed because, oh, this is myself and this is my not self. Sorry to break it to you. You have been listening to the wrong people, because these are aspects, according to Ra, in the deeper layers of design, these are aspects of you, what you're here to do. Storyteller. Yeah. Instill faith and hope and belief in a better, brighter future based on the past experiences. That's one of the things that she did with her songs and her storytelling. I had working 9 to 5 stuck in my head all day one day. The next day I had Jolene and trying not to sing vaccine. But, you know, it's an experience that is rich in the depth of awareness when you go through your own chart with this and see the beauty of life mapped to what's happening. Okay. So she had a personal destiny. And in her first Saturn 1-3, it was a difficult one. This is tension. I see this one when people come to me, it's a difficult one as a cross, particularly with any threes. oh, wait, we skipped Uranus opposition. Uranus opposition, movement towards purpose, but showing the demarcation between the halfway point of one's life. So moving from here to there, you look at your Uranus, find that date. That's when you make the shift. And instead of breathing in life experience between 38 and 44, she was a young person to make this shift. I was 44. When I started learning in living your design in early stages, they told us it was 40, 42. And I'm like, but wait, mine's 44. So they changed it. Like, yeah, 44. Uranus is weird. Okay. So it throws a monkey wrench in your life and it brings some kind of revolution, some maybe a rejuvenation, some mutation, something different into your life, depending on what's happening. You can see how different her chart is versus what's happening, both with people that leave conditioning or like marks on your heart, memories and stories, like this woman did for some of us who my mom's a blonde born in Texas. If she didn't like sing to Dolly Parton, I'm remembering it. She must have. If she and others like her didn't sing to Dolly Parton, it was so much fun to grow up with her as looking up to her. She really is an entertaining role model. Now, there are some dark pieces and accusations and stories. I don't want to go there because I feel it's important to stick with the memory of a person and give them the benefit of the doubt because they're not here anymore. But this is one of those crosses, left ankle cross of limitation, that I actually get a lot in my practice because these gates are my nodes. Okay, so I'll tell you a little secret. When you look, and I'll be shortly done here in a moment, but when you look at that in your own nodes and someone else, let's imagine that this was her design, someone else has the sun earth that's in your nodes, that is a karmic connection. Doesn't matter whether you're right angle, it's a karmic connection. It's a powerful connection, and it can even be slightly different, as we know from experience in doing this work and teaching, because, it's only 5 degrees, that gate, approximately, of the wheel. So if somebody's a little bit different, you still have a very strong resonance with them. Okay. Second Saturn. Ra said that the Uranus and the second Saturn wasn't as important for a 6 line. I find in my experience that Uranus really helps me understand their shift and the experiences that they're having. The second Saturn helps me understand, and this is from, I first learned about it because we didn't have second Saturn when I started this in 2012. It wasn't in the software. But Ra's widow knew astrology still to this day, was working with Jovian, and she put in the second Saturn as a new kind of work. And you can see that in your life if you're lucky enough to get that old, that it brings a new kind of work. And if you're blessed enough to love what you do, because Dolly wasn't stopping. She wanted to drop dead in the middle of a song, apparently. Didn't happen, unfortunately, but you can see new direction. Okay. And the exact match of the profile for 6. So the last piece that I'll give you is that every year you have a solar return. And this can be negative conditioning. This can be damaging, but it's not always. And it definitely brings new people into our lives. I remember teaching Mel and Naraya, because they're in the same class, how to do a solar cycle. And we could see, people in the chart like, oh, whoopee, like them finding their friends and family and kids. And when you start to see this, you can't unsee it. And you can see the connections that we have. And yeah, it's just a wonderful, fabulous thing. It really is. I wish I had more time. It is live. Yeah, the replay will be available. So the final thing, if there's anything, if your ladies want to weigh in now or later, I would have fun with looking at this chart in more depth. And I've been carrying on quite a bit, maybe too long. Anything that you want to share before I move back to the presentation and wrap stuff up? Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate the recognition. I can't get my slides over though. Let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we
I
go.
have something I'd like to say
Yeah,
about
please.
this because I've looked at her chart quite a bit, and one
Mhm.
of the most amazing things about it is how she's got this automatic response. And in some of her interviews, she talks about how she just knows. Like she goes
Yeah.
with her gut. She talks about going with her gut and
Mhm.
how she was able to take the limitation of being like raised so incredibly poor and make the mess of it, the best of
Mhm.
it, working within the limitations that she had. So that it's so clear. It's so
Yeah,
clear there that that's what she's here for.
absolutely. Her father was illiterate. And gosh, being raised poor, I understand that. Washing our dishes in tide pools and, using outhouses and living in a shack next to a beach, well, rocky shore. It is a challenging thing, but also a blessing to come from such a hard space and difficulty. And those who are six lines, mind or body, but this one's body, the sixth line doesn't have the same kind of resilience and adaptability, but goes through hard times in the first 30 years. And she was depressed, and depression, according to Ra, is not a natural state of being. But if there is any channel that's going to give you that depression, we don't want it to get stuck. But when it gets stuck, it's this one. Yeah. So to continue on, just where's my forward button? Um, well, it's over here. There we go. Okay. So there's some stuff that I have in written that I read yesterday that I'm just going to skip through. And thirst. Oh, thirst. Yeah, she's a cold thirst like me. Or sorry, was she hot thirst? Hang on. I was like me. She is gate 3. Okay, I have to look because now I can't remember. Hot thirst, outer vision. No wonder she liked to glam up. Yeah. She said she wasn't a natural beauty and she had to come up with a look. I'm like, girl, you're beautiful. What are you talking about? My God.
I think it's that mutation too, that transformation that every time that she went up on stage, she got to do that.
Yes. Yeah, she really did that, didn't she? And even from, the beginning of her life to the end, whatever you want to think of how she did it, she definitely transformed. So now, one piece. Before you come into any class like this, the advanced stuff, birth time really matters. Her and her father recalled 3 a.m., but the double A rated source is actually 8:25 when you go and look. So try this on your chart. Do try this at home. You will find that this does not stay the same. That many hours away, it will not stay the same. Sometimes it happens 7 minutes away, 2 minutes away, 4 minutes away. So you need to have precise birth time. I will not work with you unless you have precise birth time, or get a Vedic astrology rectification, or get a meeting with me. And for only these students who are going into the course, I will take a limited amount of one-on-ones to make sure that we are clear about what you are and give you some, well, here, try this and that. See which one really resonates for you. So that generational shift that's moving us from tribal to collective structures, from tribal collective structures towards individual self-empowerment, it's here now. You see it. It shows up in every pillar of health and wealth, and the environment moving from dense cities to open land perspective, from group survivals to personal enterprise. Health in that light stops being compliance with generic one-off cookie cutter protocols and becomes correctly operating to your own design. I had a lady who came to me because nothing else was working. And she did all the protocols, she did all the things, and nothing else was working. So I'm not saying that this is a panacea. I'm saying this is another tool that you might try in your experiment of being different and unique. If Aligned Health Labs isn't correct for you, you can submit your refund request within 10 days of your purchase, or within 10 days of September 17th. Even if I can't resell because I'm closing it off at the end of the month, I will still give you your refund and you can still keep the class that I gave you. No questions asked. Okay. We won't ask you to justify the refund. 10 days from purchase, whichever is later, and the full amount back. Your full payment refunded, no partial credit workaround. So I'm not going to make you have to come to class and talk to me. Nah, whatever. One of the things I hate about classes nowadays, because space is at such a premium, you buy a class and they close it down in 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you never get it back. You get the class for as long as I'm around and probably after, because Jovian will take it over, because Loki will probably go beyond me. The painful pricing is the same whether you do a split through Klarna and Afterpay or PayPal, or painful. I am not punishing you because you cannot afford the whole class at once. Isn't that nice? I hate it when they do that. Oh, you can't afford it? Well, so we're going to make it cost more and, load the front. It is what it is, but I don't want to do that to you. This is the founding cohort, and cohort 2 opens at $997. So locking it now saves you $200. And no exceptions. It closes because I want to have time with you. I want you to go through the transformation. I want you to have the experience. We already have somebody asking for another one afterwards because they can't make the first 3 weeks. So if you want to get on a wait list, just email us hello@Human Design Mastery. Tell us day and approximate time that works for you, because we can start new ones down the road. You do not need to know human design already. Common question that we get. The course, as soon as you get into our area that we teach, which is a mighty network called Human Design Live, humandesign.live, you can start learning right away. And you can come to any of the live sessions that you see in the training areas. In fact, you're going to be able to see other people come in to your same class, but you cannot ask questions. You can, or same class, other classes, you just have to observe. Okay. And you take a back seat if this is not your normal class, because I need to be able to take care of the people who are there with me first before you get your questions answered if you need support. If you miss a live session, every session is recorded, transcribed, searchable, replay any week. That means if we do 3, right now we have scheduled 2, but if we do 3, you get all 3 group trainings. You just you choose one to come to live and get your questions answered so that we can keep the group with the group and answer the questions that are up for that week. If your birth time is uncertain, we'll help you work with what you have. Okay. If it's not right for me, for you, I'm reading it out loud. It's right for me. I want to go. Let's go. All right. Yay. 12 weeks. Most people who do this, they can do it in 5 days. I'm not doing that to you because I want you to have an experience that is rich. It takes 21 days, at least change your habits, maybe more, maybe less, depending on who you are. So it's a practitioner created course. Hi, that's me. In Ra Uruhu's primary health system, but we're adding on more. Besides determination and cognition, we're adding in nutrition by gate and experiment. Ra didn't teach this. I want you to experiment with it, please, and let me know how it goes for you. Environment perspective, so that you're unique. Because your design is already shaping your health, this course shows you how to listen to your body correctly. And the bonus is that we're exploring codon mapping, which is a precursor to the advanced experience I'm planning for you next year, hopefully as a continuation of this course, where we will talk about the magic square. I'm not teaching you magic square, but we're geeks and we cannot help but look at it. So hear from students. You already heard from 2 students in my classes, but Mandy says it's not Pop HD, and I'm not dogging on Pop HD. It's just not as deep. Okay. We are source-based, mechanical, experiential. And I love this, that she said it was a deeply human center of the human experiential way. That's me. Cheryl, who is a naturopathic doctor, one of my clients and students, says, this lets me confidently offer PHS and strategy and authority advice to my patients. I didn't tell her she could. I didn't tell her not to. And please don't come dogging on me. Lavina's teaching people. Yes, I'm empowering people. It's the time. I'm not certifying. So this is a space for learning, as Manuela says. A space for learning human design on a complete new level. It's genius. and it works. Ra was the real genius. He really was. I mean, it's magnificent and like jaw dropping in its accuracy. I feel compelled to tell you that sometimes you will see me closing my eyes and going within and coming up with something that may or may not resonate with you. Just because I or we are more experienced doesn't mean that we have godlike powers. Please don't project on us that we're going to save you, rescue you, fix you. But you can be your own authority, and we're living proof that it can be done. Oren, I love this. Lavina is incredibly authentic and moving. She cares. I have seen how deeply she resonates with her students. And I think that those that have the fortune to learn from her, I see it the other way. I have the blessing to learn from you. Without you, I don't get to see what I am for you. He says, gain a caring, loving, and dedicated ally. Beyond that, she does everything within her power to empower the other, even if it means giving some pearls of wisdom that are very advanced. Can't help it. Oren says I'm an incredible person, and I gave him he was one of my students in both human design and BG5, the work and business side of things. And he came and got a solar return reading, and something came out of my mouth, and it came true. Within a year, he was married. It was really cool to see. I am not special. Everybody's unique and different, but I feel like something's opening up, and I think a lot of you might too, that the transmission of frequency is something that you may be attuning to if you're very sensitive like me, deeply resonating on a level with other people who are like you. Are you recognizing that you're getting more psychic? Ladies, in your work, have you noticed that just stuff is coming? Maybe it's the human design stuff, maybe pattern recognition, who knows? But it's really, really cool to be able to work with this knowledge, and it's not that expensive for 3 months. I just went through a 5-day class that was $3,000, $2,999. That was a lot. I mean, but it's worth it if you're going to dedicate yourself to the knowledge, it's worth anything, and more worth it for your intelligence, your time, your energy, and your commitment. Again, Lavina likes commitment. And this is it. Because you're utterly unique, weeks 1 through 4, please go sign up right now so that I know how to schedule people. We have people waiting to help you. And again, if you don't come because for whatever reason it's not right for you, you get your full money back guarantee. We're going to do orientation, a health history intake, your advanced analysis at My Body Graph, and the primary health system foundations in weeks 1 through 4. And then there's going to be labs, at least 5 labs, your codon chart and rave psychology clinics, my favorite stuff, 4 guided experiments, and your complete health blueprint, which we're going to be creating, not just with AI, but written in your own words if you give me permission to use your information. Okay. You'll also receive the advanced analyses, foundations and advanced, and 4 lectures from Jovian Archive. And it's all transcribed, all searchable. The bonus is, I'm not going to talk to you individually, $321 for every single bonus that we're giving you. And the $97 per year Human Design Introduction course for beginners. It includes membership to my Mighty Network. That is free too. So you get in, and no extra cost for your founding cohort seat. What are your questions? I see that we have a few. Yay. I see that we have a few in the Q&A box. So remember, there's no analysis without a chart and a container. Do you recognize anything that we want to bring to the table, Naraya or Mel?
I do. There's somebody who's asking when the early bird bonuses close.
Okay. So the bonus is not something that is time sensitive beyond signing up for the course as long as we have space. So the next one is going to be $200 more. So as long as there's space, you can join us. for this lower amount. Okay. All right. Anything else, Naraya, before we wrap up?
Well, the one question in the question and answer that I think you could answer without a chart could be a general one for advice for reflectors in this beautiful new era.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be real heretical here. My reflector friends, you are so unique and so special and so different. And I would advise you to connect up with whatever it is that holds true for you, because you have something inside of you that tells you, it knows, it just knows. Like Dolly, she had her sacral knowing, you a guttural response. You have your knowing and awareness that moves you. You do. So to be able to attune to the moon is not something I have seen many reflectors actually track and do. That's my heretical advice to you is, hey, if it doesn't work for you, let it go and just trust your awareness and your knowing. Maybe it's correct for you to come into a space like this where you learn about dietary regimen and you learn about your primary health system and your psychology and align to the awareness of form differentiation and your unique cognitive difference. Okay. It is something, I was taught this in school, that you can use your primary health system, your tonal cognition, as not only a diagnostic, and this is not diagnosis, please, in the medical sense, but as a diagnostic to your awareness, your health, your safety, security, well being. When you look at a reflector chart, it is not empty, it is full of wisdom and potential for awareness. And I'm going to say many at this point, many reflectors that I've had the privilege of meeting either in person or online or having in my classes, of all of them, the thread that goes throughout is that no matter what age and stage, they all have this sense of wonderment or a kind of childlike awe and beauty. I can see, Naraya, you have experienced them. So what do you recommend for them? Because you actually know one in person, same cross as you, right? I remember
I
correctly.
actually I spent time with them this morning.
Oh, nice.
So I know a couple of them, and there's one thing that's consistent is the sense of surprise that they get when they see something or interact with something that just it's different. And they describe it as it just they noticed it just looked different or it felt different. There's something different about it, almost like it was brighter to them, more pronounced. And so walking into this new era, looking for those things, because that to you is the way that you know that you're aligned. And when you have the disappointment, that's one of the signs for you to maybe take a step back and wait, because we know reflectors, they can wait for a long time before they get go, the signal to go into something.
I agree. And, to apply to the rest of the 99% of people in the world, surprise or disappointment, they are not something that only reflectors get. It is something that all of us get because we all have reflected channels. So if you're having a little bit of a difficulty in recognizing yourself truly, give it some time in the experiment. All you have to do for alignment to happen is to relax into that space of grace where you know what you know inside. And when you know, no one can tell you that that's not right for you. When you know, you move. Naraya is really good at this. She's got great boundaries, like great awareness, self-awareness, I feel anyway. When I see either she or my husband is born very close by, so they have a lot of the same outer planets. When I see the magic of seeing somebody who's operating in integrity and the awareness, the self-awareness that comes, and the beauty, the magnificence, I just can't give it enough praise as far as what it is to be an awakened nine center being. It's all about awareness. And on the slide, you'll see the primary health system description of potential fine tunings you may notice. It's going to be all across the map. But the most important thing I'll tell you, your senses are enhanced, your decision making ability changes. I'm posting excerpts of yesterday's recording because I went really long, not as long as today, or longer than today. And one of the stories I'll tell you is that my ability to follow strategy and authority is way different. Nobody told me what it would be like for me in my reading. Nobody. Is there something in your life awareness that somebody didn't tell you, Naraya? I gave you your first reading, so I'm like opening it up here. My first reading, they didn't tell my second, my third. Nobody told me what my authority really was like. And the first time I recognized it was like, whoa, this is incredible. So it's all different always.
Yeah, so you did my first reading. You were my first teacher, and we talked about how it could show up in different ways that it shows up for people, but no one really pinpointed it. And the way it showed up for me really changed over time. I'm an emotional authority. And what I thought was me having a clear emotional state, making a decision, ended up years later, I realized, whoa, that's not even a fully formed decision making strat like for me. It just wasn't. And now I don't even feel like I have to make a decision. I move in that direction, and whatever direction it is. So it's the no choice thing really comes into play for this, for me specifically. But there was no one who even I'd heard talk about this, that this is the way that it was, because for them, it might not be that way.
Yeah. And this is why it's important to experiment, especially with your primary health system, because it changes your body and it tunes, heals differently. Your body does things differently and you don't try to change it back. And that's really key. So to thrive, whatever type you happen to be, whether you're generative, manifested, projected, or reflected, to thrive with health is wealth because it is an amazing gift. It really is. Your gift for staying to the end, my friend. I'm going to give you a link so that you have free membership and the intro course, and it's yours free. No purchase necessary. So thank you for staying and sharing your journey with me. Everyone, love yourself, and your body has been waiting for you to listen. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Naraya, for being here to support. And this course is going to help you decipher your map, and your design gives you the authority. So hopefully you'll be able to see what it's like for you in this reality. HumanDesignMastery.com. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye for now.